is November 9th, 2015, and this is Wayne Goldsboro Television. I'm Wayne Alley.
And I'm Kate Daniels.
Hello to you. I hope everybody's doing well there. It is a Monday. Are we used to the time change yet?
It's taken me up until this point, but I think we're okay.
Okay.
I think we're okay.
I hope so.
But when it gets dark at, what, 4 o'clock, it's like, good gracious.
I don't know. That's my bedtime. And I don't know what time it gets dark.
Whew. Makes the mornings easier, though, with the sunshine out sooner.
Kaboom!
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 In partnership with Blue Cross Blue Shield, Wayne Memorial Hospital, City of Goldsboro, and Wayne First, along with funding from United Way of Wayne County, United Wayne, if you will, a playground is being built. To make this become a reality for Wayne County children, a one-day build, and that's why it's kind of kaboom. All of a sudden, it's not there, but then it is. One-day build will take place on Saturday, November 14th. That is this Saturday at Herman Park, starting at 7:30 in the morning, going until 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and between 7:30 and 3, a new playground will just emerge out of thin air.
Yes.
It's magic.
It's, well, sort of, with a lot of sweat equity.
Well, yeah, okay. Well, the sweat equity.
With a lot of sweat equity.
A lot of magic equity as well. But anyway, so get some co-workers and neighbors and friends to volunteer for the one-day build. If you want more information about that, click here.
Click here. Stop it. Stop it.
Anyway, this comes to us from David Madden out at the Health Department. I would almost bet you the Board of Health is behind this, David and all these other folks as well, Blue Cross Blue Shield, City of Goldsboro, Wayne Memorial Hospital. But if you want to know more about it, talk to someone at the Health Department, I'm sure, then, and ask for David and say, I want to volunteer for this.
Yeah.
And I almost think you could just show up.
Well, you can do that, or they're trying to funnel volunteers through United Way's website. So if you go there, you can just simply fill in your information. If you're watching this and you're like, you know what, I want to be a part of this remarkable piece of our history as a community and be a part of it, but I cannot physically help. Say you're physically not able. They would still want you there. Be a part of it. Come out and support. The great thing about this project is several weeks back, probably a month and a half ago, they had school children. They brought them together at Herman Park and gave them paper and pencils and said, draw your dream playground. So this is a result of the idea of what children in Wayne County, how they want to see a playground being built.
That
so
is great.
If you have access to a computer, Google Kaboom. It is Kaboom, and you can see how this project will unfold. They've not done a project like this in Wayne County or even in surrounding communities. So this is very, very exciting.
Well,
but you can see in other parts of the country where they've done this, and in about a 3-minute video, they'll show a time lapse from start to finish. It's very cool.
Wow, that is cool. Of course, now, the fact that it's been done elsewhere doesn't really matter because we're usually the first at everything.
That's right.
So
this will be the best. This will be the shining example for
shining
Kabooms to come.
Yeah, there you go.
But it is, Gary Bartlett has spearheaded this initiative to get all these partners together. So Gary Bartlett is spearheading the Wayne First initiative. So a shout out to Gary and the many partners that have already been mentioned, and Parks and Rec with the City of Goldsboro has been very instrumental in getting the planning together for this.
This is a great idea.
It is.
It is a great idea. Kaboom!
Kaboom!
Kaboom. Okay. Today is the 9th. That means it's chaos. I'm not making this up. Chaos Never Dies Day.
No, it doesn't.
I'm not making that up. The 230th Brigade Support Battalion Commander, Lieutenant Colonel Keith Rapp, is inviting everyone to the renovation ceremony for the Goldsboro National Guard Armory. That'll be taking place 5 December at 10 a.m. 1000 hours. It's not 1000.
It's not 010.
But it's 1000 hours at the National Guard Armory on Highway 117 bypass. And everything begins at 10 a.m. and should be over by about 11:30. All right. Anyway, you're invited to attend. That's going to be a great event. All right.
Nice.
All right. Are you ready?
Let's go.
Let's go. We're going to our next segment.
I have the pleasure of introducing our keynote speaker for the day, Dr. Eric Hall. It says call you Eric, so I will do that. Eric holds a bachelor's degree in secondary science education, a master's in educational leadership, and a doctorate in educational leadership and policy studies from the University of South Florida. His research has been published in academic journals and books with topics focused on student discipline, the school-to-prison pipeline, school leadership, and charter schools. He has over 20 years of experience in the field of education. He moved here along with his wife and 2 children in January of 2013 when he was named President and CEO of Communities in Schools of North Carolina. Communities in Schools is a statewide nonprofit network which serves more than 200,000 students annually in over 40 counties with the goal of improving achievement and reducing high school dropout rates. The ultimate goal of Communities in Schools of North Carolina is to see that every student in the state graduate from high school and be empowered for a lifetime of success. At this time, I'd like to introduce Dr. Eric Hall.
Well, good morning. Again, just call me Eric. I completely forgot everything I was going to say because I am so stressed about pictures from social media on this drumming thing. Anybody back at my office will tell you that is completely out of character for me. So if you've got pictures, just see me after the meeting, please. Not only that, my son, who's 10, he's learning how to play the snare drum. And I think I was more stressed about how to hold those sticks than anything because I was trying with him the other day and I hit him 3 times. So I just was more concerned about hitting people at the table than anything. So again, Selena, thank you for having them here this morning. And again, just really appreciate the opportunity to be here with all of you today. I had the privilege a couple weeks ago of being at an event and hearing Condoleezza Rice speak. And she said something to me that was very profound. And I'll say it, and it's a simple statement, but it's a strong statement. And she said 2 things that stood out to me, and I'm going to read it from my phone because I was there taking notes when I was listening to her speak. And she said, there is no topic more important than the education of our children. And then she followed up by saying, it doesn't matter where you came from, it matters where you're going. And I think about that because when I look around this room and I get an opportunity to travel this state, I see so many communities coming together to really focus on this topic of education. It's important. It's a landscape that's shifting. You know, we're seeing education evolve and education being framed in ways that most of us can't even imagine. Listening, you know, just a few minutes ago about the young man that's coding and doing things in the education environment, things that I couldn't comprehend when I was a high school student myself. You know, we look at how the construct of education and schooling is changing from what many of us consider to be a building to the fact that schools now extend beyond the walls of our facilities to being something that is online and something that is accessible 24 hours a day. And so education, again, it's changing, but the one thing that doesn't are the people that make up the community. We have communities that can wrap around our children and make amazing things happen. And you know, for Communities in Schools of North Carolina, we are a statewide network, we're an organization, and I really want to drive this point home, that as a network, we are reaching more kids than almost any other state in this nation with a wraparound service approach. And what that means, having been a former educator, is that I knew what it took to try to teach our students to learn. I knew as a school administrator what it took to try to have a safe facility, and a culture that was conducive to learning. But one of the things I failed to understand was the impact that community played in the lives of the children inside my building. Because it's easy to get focused on the things that you have to deliver as outcomes and think about what do you have to get done during that workday, but you forget that all of these individuals outside of that building are there making an impact in the lives of our children day in and day out. So for me, looking at the work that Communities in Schools is doing and really bringing in that wraparound approach to support our schools and our students, it's big work. It's huge work, and it's important work. And I think that's where, personally, North Carolina is positioned better than any other state in this nation to be a model about how communities really wrap around its schools and make amazing things happen. Because kids cannot learn if they come to school with other challenges that are going to distract them when they get in the classroom. We know that. And I'll just give you an example, something I learned a long time ago. When I was in track, and I guess I should say track and field because I did shot put and discus. I guess that wasn't technically on the track. But when I did track and field in high school, there was a young man named Manny. And Manny was known to be one of the fastest kids in the school. Had talent that was unbelievable. And I remember when we were doing tryouts for track, Manny came and he had really kind of a pair of boots. He had, you know, I don't know what you call them, but they're kind of like the tan looking, almost hiking type boots. And he was wearing those, and that's what he had. That's what he had to wear. And the coach recognized that, but people knew that Manny needed something to help him so he could run faster, because he wasn't going to be able to run and compete in those boots. Coach came back the next day, had a pair of shoes for him. And what those shoes did, those shoes, simply giving the shoes, helped Manny unleash his potential, because the ability was there. But until something happened to remove that barrier and to give him the tool that would help him realize that full potential, it took that small act of kindness to make a complete difference in where Manny went throughout that season, and won several track meets and got a lot of statewide attention for what he was doing. It's the simplest things that make the biggest difference sometimes. And as a former educator, I would tell you, I can appreciate that, because I can remember the folks that came into my classroom, the folks that came into my school, and even though I didn't realize it then, the barriers that they removed for the kids that were struggling, oftentimes in my school. So please understand the role that each of you play as partners and as a community, the impact that you can make. You know, as I looked, and I know this is something on the agenda, Selena, you guys are going to talk a little bit about some of the data and outcomes here. And yes, we are in a world where we have to pay attention to outcomes. Doing nice things is great, but doing impactful things can be transformative. And it's important that we do nice things, because if we do nice things well and we do it with intentionality and we do it based on what research and evidence shows us works, then we can anticipate great outcomes. And so I'm looking forward, you know, to hearing you share some of that data and information in a few minutes. But I encourage you, if you want to get a highlight, take a look at the brochure that's on your table. And if you want to see impact, impact is spelled out on this page. And it's because of the work that all of you in this room are doing and what this community has come together around this common mission of communities and schools to make happen. Like I said, the drumming threw me off, so I'm going to go back on something. When I talk about communities and schools of North Carolina, and I talk about this statewide network, and communities and schools of Wayne County being one of 30 affiliates across the state, reaching more than 40 districts here in North Carolina, we are reaching almost 200,000 kids a year. And when you look at the outcomes of over 96% of the students that we're working with being promoted, and the numbers of kids that are going on to graduate, that in itself is a testament to how when you do something right, it works really well. When I go back and think about my time as an educator, and I realize the things that I know now that I didn't know then, is that when you put the right people in the right place at the right time, with the right set of resources and the right set of tools, it can really make a major difference in the life of a child. And so, again, I want to celebrate and be here to applaud you for the work that you're doing here in Wayne County. Selena, your team, the board, all of you that are here as partners, and everybody in this community, the work that you're doing to really take a focus and a direct attention on the young people that are growing up in this community, it's to be commended. As you heard earlier, I moved from Florida, and much like the superintendent said a little bit ago, when I came to North Carolina, I have been so amazed at how the communities in our state really do take a strong interest in our young people, in our schools, and in the purpose of what schooling is all about, which is helping to transform the lives of young people into what their potential can be. Much like Manny had that support, that small little tweak, it can make a difference. I worked in the juvenile justice system, and I swear it sounded like when the introduction was being made, I thought you were introducing me, because I started my career in the juvenile justice system. I worked doing case management work in the evening and weekends with kids that were transitioning back from the residential facilities in Florida back into Tampa. And over and over and over again, I continued to hear about how many of our young people in those situations, something happened along the way where the right person wasn't at the right place at the right time to intervene. And I heard things regarding getting disconnected from school, getting involved in things that shouldn't have been going on. And again, it's kind of, as the director said earlier, with DAW, with the drumming group, he said, kids are going to get involved in something. And I saw so many young lives really just move down the wrong path because they got connected to something they shouldn't have gotten connected to. And all of you have the ability to stand in the way of what that something could be. Don't underestimate that, because I can tell you, personally, it drives me every day, and I carry with me a letter of a young man everywhere I go, because it reminds me, he wrote me from a residential facility about how he wished that he had been in the right place at the right time. And that young man lost his life afterwards because he got around the wrong people. Don't underestimate, please, if you take nothing else away from what I say this morning, do not underestimate the ability that you have to make an impact in somebody's life. We need you to be the individual that stands in the way of what could go wrong. And I see these young people here this morning and the talent, and again, hearing about the talent that's here in this community already from our young people. Take advantage of that talent, because one day they're going to be caring for us, or potentially not caring for us. And that decision rests in the hands of the individuals in this room and the people across this community who can stand in the way of what could go wrong. So let's not make it wrong, let's make it right. And I ask you to continue the good work that you're doing, and know that I am so proud to be connected to an organization and to a statewide community of folks that care about its kids. We've still got a lot of work ahead of us, but I appreciate everything that you're doing, because community, our partners, everybody that's involved in this work, again, it's not work, it's a movement. It's a movement that we can make together to make great things happen. And we need all of you to be a part of that movement and continue this work going forward. So I thank you, applaud you. Selena, thank you for having me here this morning, and appreciate everything that all of you are doing. Thank you.
I think Eric pointed out that everything I can get up here and tell you about is right in this little pamphlet. And so I'm going to highlight a few things, but I want you to be sure to read this pamphlet. Take it home with you, look at it, because I think it's very impressive of what Communities in Schools does. And Communities in Schools is exactly what it is. It's communities getting in the school system by partnering with other organizations throughout our county or out the district. To highlight a few things we've done in the last year, Communities in Schools serviced over 4,500 students this past school year. We did 160 students were involved in our teen court program, and I know that I want to kind of explain that. That's the ones who were actually charged with some kind of criminal activity. We actually have so many more volunteers, both students and adults, who participate in our teen court program. And what that program does, we started it, gosh, I can't remember how many years ago, 15 years ago. Communities in Schools and myself, when I was a judge, started this program 15 years ago, is what Selena said. I actually was a judge on the first court we had that night, all volunteers. But the idea of that court was to keep kids from having a criminal record that would follow them into their career and into college. And one of the examples that was given to me when we started trying to get this program started was a young lady who was trying to get in college into med school, and she had a criminal record, some minor thing like a shoplifting or something on her record, and it was holding her back. And we went a lot of effort to make sure she was able to get in, and she did. Actually, now she's a doctor. So we're able to push that through. That kind of got the ball rolling with this teen court process through the Juvenile Crime Prevention Council, which funds most of that program, to allow us to try to give these kids a second chance. So, and they know that, and they have to assume responsibility for their act. It's not just them to come in and we're going to take care of you. They have to come in, fess up to what they did, assume responsibility for what they did, and based upon their taking that role, we offer the help that's necessary to hopefully give them a promising future. The other thing I'd like to point out is our success coaches. We have coaches now in, 6 schools, Selena? High school and now in middle school. We're hoping to try to expand that in the future. And again, these success coaches are wonderful, and if they're still here, I'd like for them to stand up again. They deserve a real good round of applause. Some other things that's not on here, we paired up with the Goldsboro Fire Department, and Assistant Chief Johnson, stand up because she needs a round of applause. We started a fire academy under her directorship. And I might be misquoting here, but didn't y'all go to like the national challenge? Didn't you take the kids to some national competition? So they went to national competition and performed well there. We also started a police academy under the Goldsboro Police Department. Trey Ball, Stan, there he is. The main points that I want to point out is, again, right in your bulletin, and I think Eric already said a couple of those things. What Communities in Schools has done over the last year, 96% of the kids who were involved in Communities in Schools were promoted to their next grade level. 96%. 99% of those who, I hate to use profiled because that's the bad word to use, but who were profiled as potential dropouts actually stayed in school. 99% we kept in school. And 100% of those who were in our senior class graduated. 100%. And I think that's a fantastic record. Communities and Schools is the nation's leading dropout prevention organization and the only such organization proven to decrease the dropout rate and increase on-time graduation rates. The only organization that does that. Wayne County Communities and Schools has 5 basic things we go by. We try to provide a one-on-one relationship with a caring adult, a safe place to grow and learn for the kids, a healthy start and a healthy future, marketable skills to use upon graduation, and a chance to give back to the community. Our whole organization hinges upon pairing up with other organizations within our community to make this a better place to live and to give our kids a chance to grow and mature and become successful adults. Again, I urge you, I'm not going to read this. I hate it when people get up and read something that you can read, so I'm not going to read this. I just want to hit those main highlights and ask you to please look at this and see what we've done. The one other thing that just really jumps out on this page, on the back page, is that out of every $1 invested in communities and schools, it in turn creates $11.60 of economic benefit for the economy. $1 correlates to $11.60. If we can keep the kids out of my courtroom, out of our jails, out of our prisons, make them productive adults, that's what's payback. And that's what it's all about. So I think we're going to have somebody else who's going to talk to you about when we close this meeting, because I want to get out of here before 12 again, because I don't want to feed you. But I do want to thank those who have partnered with us in the past, and I encourage those who have yet to partner with us to please do so, to become our partners, so that together we can make Wayne County a better place in which to live for ourselves and for our kids. And again, thank you.
Judge Joe keeps saying he wants us out by 12. Now, what I know is this clock has not been changed for daylight savings time. So I actually have an hour and 10 minutes and not just 10 minutes. But I promise you I am not going to do that to you today. First of all, I want to thank you for coming. This has been a tremendous celebration. This has been just such a great opportunity to see community partners all together in one room at one time. You've heard our data. You have a great brochure that we have created for you. But what I want to talk about just very briefly is those things that data, Eric, does not show, as we all know. When I started thinking about partnerships, I decided I would Google it because I wanted to find out specifically what is a partnership? What does it look like? The state of being a partner or partners, well, that didn't do much for me. So then I went to synonyms for partnerships, and that's what I found that describes everything that has gone on here today. Synonyms for partnership include cooperation, association, collaboration, affiliation, and the 2 most important words, relationships and connections. And I think the one thing that we do in communities and schools is we pull together all those different variables that come together for the good of the community. Certainly Wayne County Public Schools is our greatest partner, and if it were not for the public school system, we would not be an organization. They invite us to come in. So when I look at the individuals, the other nonprofits that are represented in this room, the schools, when I look at the churches and at the businesses and the individuals, it just really makes me feel good to be a part of such a community. So we're not working alone. You saw these kids in the drum line, and one of the things that Orlando did not tell you was that a number of these kids that had planned to drive this morning, they got up and they didn't have transportation. So Orlando called me at 8:30. He said, Selena, I'll be there, but I'm out rounding up my kids. So that's what I think we do. We round up our kids and we rally behind them. One fact that we have not given you today is that 75% of our high school dropouts become prison inmates. 75%. Now, those that have been in the juvenile justice field know that. So, as I have said so many times when speaking to funders, we can either put our money on the front end and try to be proactive and do good things for kids, or we wind up putting the money on the backside when it's too late for us to save some of those children. So your contribution, no matter how small you think it might be, it is a great contribution. I want to just very quickly run through some highlights that are not in your impact report, because we do have 6 schools, and there is no way I could tell you everything that goes on in every school. Every school is different, and the way we function in each school and the way the administrators in that school want us to work varies from school to school. What Dr. Bolt wants us to do at Southern Wayne is very different from what Brian Weeks wants at Goldsboro High. Resources in those 2 high schools are very different. Southern Wayne High School last year, some of the highlights included 6 of our students who were CIS students received VIP awards. And these awards are given by the community to students who've helped to make the school a better place. That is quite an honor. At Goldsboro High, we have already mentioned the fire and the police academies, but one of the interesting things last year was expanding into our police academy. We had a crime scene investigation at Wayne Community College, and it involved a pig, if I remember. Trey, is that correct? So the partnership with the fire and police academies and Wayne Community College has been phenomenal, and it led us to our crime scene investigation with the pig. Students also received class credit for the fire academy classes that they were taking last year. We had 2 students who were the recipients of our first ever scholarship last year that was awarded by Chick-fil-A. One of those young men plays in the drum line. He was not able to be here this morning, but this young man, whose name is Travis, we have had so many community partners rally around him, from both the school level at Goldsboro High to Lisa Johnson and the fire department to Wayne Community College. Travis just graduated with his EMT certification and has passed his state exam. We all feel like a child of ours has received a very important, he's reached a milestone in his life. The interesting thing about Travis, he is a kid that when he was in elementary school, he repeated 2 grades. In middle school, he was very much a troublemaker. But when he got to high school and he discovered something that he was interested in, which happened to be the fire academy, a light was turned on for him. So not only did he graduate, and not only has he completed this EMT certification and been part of the Fire Explorer Academy and the Fire Academy, but one of his goals was to find a home for his parents, to move them out of the neighborhood that they were living in. They have also accomplished that goal and are now in a much better environment. And so for that child's success was not just about graduating from high school, but it was in providing for his family. Those are the kinds of things that data does not always show. At Spring Creek Middle last year, we had Majesty Rose to come and perform as part of our end-of-grade testing incentive. And communities and schools hosted a number of trips to the University of Mount Olive last year for kids. Southern Wayne and Spring Creek both had the opportunity to hear Miss North Carolina last year as part of American Education Week. And at Grantham, we had communities and schools students assisting us with our United Way Days of Caring book drive. Throughout all of the county, we collected over 4,000 books that we were able to provide for children who did not have books in their homes. Another interesting thing that they did at Grantham last year, Celia James arranged for a library card sign-up at the school on family reading night. So families that did not have a public library card were given the opportunity on site during one of their parent night programs to sign up for that card. Mount Olive Middle, we had over 60 young ladies that went to a University of Mount Olive event to celebrate National Girls and Women in Sports Day. And every child at Mount Olive Middle had the opportunity to visit a college or a university at some time during that year. At Brogden Middle, Greg Batts had his fraternity brothers to go out and be motivational speakers. They went into every single classroom providing a message of success and hope for those kids. And at the end of the year, those same fraternity brothers went back and treated the staff to an end-of-year luncheon. The Teen Court program, I cannot begin to tell you all of these success stories and what Aries has done to bring that program to a whole new level. Every month she has an inmate from Greene County Correctional Facility to come in and speak to Teen Court students about choices and the importance of making the right choices. At Eastern Wayne Middle, we don't have a paid staff member, but we have one of my very best and dearest friends, Paige Nunn, who has started a mentoring program there. I've given them a little bit of support just to get them started, and I think now we're up to, about 16 mentors that are being placed in with kids to work at Eastern Wayne Middle. On November the 14th, we're going to be recognized by a local fraternity as one of the organizations of the year for contributions to the community. Stuff the Bus, and I saw one of my favorite Stuff the Busters here a few minutes ago. I have one lady in this community that starts shopping every year in early summer, and she shops all summer long and donates supplies to us for Stuff the Bus. This is also our reaccreditation year, and Eric, I won't even tell you how many hours I've already spent scanning and uploading and downloading, and it's all in a big box in the sky. So hopefully we've gotten it where it's supposed to be. I have just hit on a few highlights, and I think Joe, he puts me last on the agenda for a reason. He knows that way I'll have to stop talking at some point. But I just want to thank you for coming here, for being a community partner, for caring about the kids in this community. And I will tell you, because I am a planner, April 14th, put it on your calendar, Have a Heart for Kids fundraiser. It's going to be at the Terrace Room this year. It's going to be at 6 o'clock, and we need you to all come back and bring your checkbooks, because we're going to have a good time that night. Be sure to check out our website. Jean Jackson keeps information current on our website. We also have a Facebook page, so you can like us on Facebook. Thank you once again for coming, and please stop and have more refreshments. We do have pumpkins on the table that have been hand-painted by one of my board members, Mary Ann Barwick. And if you owe your wife a gift, or you have a special friend that has a birthday, for a minimum donation of $40, you can take a pumpkin home with you today. And we would love for you to do that. Please notice on the back of this agenda all of the sponsors for today. Parks and Rec, Russell, your guys are the best. Scott, I cannot say enough about what this staff did. I came in yesterday. All I had to do was, Aries and I just fluffed up decorations. We had food that was provided for today. Of course, our entertainment, and it's just been a wonderful celebration. So if you'd like a pumpkin, see one of the board members, and please help yourself to more refreshments. Thank you so much. That's it.
And we're back on Wayne Goldsboro Television. Thank you for being with us. If you miss anything at all on today's program, it repeats at noon, then again at 5:30. I tell people this every day, and somebody says, "When are you on?" All the time. It's at 7 a.m., at noon, and at 5:30 p.m., and then the same program will repeat over the weekend 4 times. Woo. All right.
Woo! Woo!
Okay. And then there's the Christmas parade.
There is the Christmas
So
parade.
how are things shaping up with that Chamber of Commerce?
They are shaping up very well. We are getting applications in each day, but we don't have all the ones we know we're going to get. So to you all watching, if you want to be a part of the Christmas parade, as in participating, be it have your business or your organization or your church group or what have you in it, contact the Chamber. We've got the applications online. You can see the route that we're going to be taking, and all the information is there. But we do have deadlines coming up very quickly, and the event will take place the first Saturday of December, December 5th, at 4 p.m. for the magical annual Christmas parade.
That's 1,600 hours for the military.
That's right. And if you're not interested in participating in the parade, we want to see you there.
That's right.
Come join us.
I happen to know that the weather's going to be perfect.
It's going to be amazing.
It's going to be a Chamber of Commerce day.
A Chamber of Commerce day. I like that.
Thank you.
I like that.
That's good. It will be. Yeah, there you go. Anyway, December 5th. Lou Ferrigno. That name ring a bell?
No.
He was Mr. America in 73. He was Mr. Universe in 73 and 74. He's a great big guy.
I was about to say, like a competition?
Yeah, okay. 6'4" with every muscle imaginable out to here. How about the King of Queens? You ever heard of that?
Yeah.
All right.
The show?
He was the next door neighbor.
Really?
Yeah. He was also, but he's best known. Let me tell you what he's best known for.
I did not know that.
He is best known for The Incredible Hulk. You remember that was a TV show back in the 80s? And
Not
he was
really, but
okay, well, never mind that. Anyway, Lou Ferrigno, known and loved by many people, except her.
Except me.
Except her, yes.
I respect that, but don't know who he is.
But he's a great guy. He's a very gentle guy. He's 64 years today.
Gentle giant.
Yes, he is. His birthday. Robert Duncan McNeil played Lieutenant Paris on Star Trek Voyager. He's 51 today. And Eric Dane, who played Dr. Mark Sloan on Grey's Anatomy.
Oh, I do know him.
You know that. I knew you'd know him. Yeah, that's a very good show.
It is a good
He's
show.
having a birthday. He's 43 today. So happy,
Very
happy,
nice.
and all that. Okay, tomorrow's another day. It is Tuesday.
It is.
Yeah, we'll begin tomorrow, early tomorrow, sometime around morning. Here we go. Stage Struck Theater presenting to you A Midsummer Night's Dream, a Shakespearean comedy, of course. I love it. November 20th, 21st, and 22nd. This will be A Midsummer Night's Dream, is Shakespeare's most popular comedy, it is indeed. Performed every year by dozens of theater companies across the country and around the world. Reserved seating for this, put on by our very own Stage Struck Theater, $15 to $18 each, depending on where you're sitting, and available at the Paramount Theater. You can go to GoldsboroParamount.com to get information, or you can go to GoldsboroParamount.com and get tickets, and reserve tickets, or you can call 919-583-8432. 919-583-8432. Go online to GoldsboroParamount.com.
They do an incredible job with their productions.
Yes, they do. Downtown Lights Up coming up soon.
Yes.
And there's an essay contest for youngsters and young'uns. That will be going through November 19th. Your little one may submit an essay of 250 to 300 words, which is what? That's maybe 2/3 to 3/4 of a page.
Right.
About 3/4 of a page. About why they love downtown Goldsboro during the holiday season. You know, you can mention lights and all that stuff. 2 writers will be selected to actually read their essays at Downtown Lights Up, which is on November 24th. Kids 3rd through 5th grade are welcome to enter. So if your youngster is in the 3rd, 4th, or 5th grade, in fact, I've got a cousin who was in the 5th grade for about 6 years. He really loved it. He just didn't want to leave. That's what he said anyway. Mail essays by the November 19th to downtown Goldsboro. That's DGDC, 219 North John Street, Goldsboro, 27530.
We got to work with you on your numbers.
Please do. Please, I need help.
Number.
I need help. I need help.
What's our number at the chamber?
The number at the chamber, if you have any questions about for the Chamber of Commerce, the number is 919-734-2241.
It sure is. Awesome.
Okay.
Awesome.
Well, I tried. Of course, some of these numbers I make up.
No,
I also learned recently that R is not a number. We got to go. We'll be back in here tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Have yourself a fine day, a great day, and a good day on top of all that. Until tomorrow, I'm Wayne Alley.
And I'm Kate Daniels.
And this is Wayne Goldsboro Television.